Scotland is an economic basket case which will learn a harsh economic reality if the SNP succeeds in forcing independence, a banking consultant has said. Bob Lydon, founder of Lydon Consulting Services Limited, believes Boris Johnson should call Nicola Sturgeon's bluff by offering to cut the nation loose to see how it fares on its own. And he predicted after independence, high levels of current public spending would crash to well below the current average UK level. Mr. Lydon has written two separate analyses examining the issue of Scottish independence, why Scotland must keep the pound, and why it can't, published in advance of the 2014 referendum, and the Smith Commission, Buying the Great SNP Bluff, published in 2015, in reference to the document published afterwards intended to offer Scotland more devolved powers. In these papers, Mr. Lydon set out key reasons why he believes Scotland is ill-equipped to go it alone. And with recent polls suggesting high levels of support for Scottish independence, he warned those living north of the border needed to think very carefully about the way forward. Mr. Lydon told Express.co.uk, Westminster's stance towards the SNP, appeasement, has failed. Instead it has strengthened the SNP's jingoism and its apparent popularity amongst Scottish voters. All the SNP have done during the coronavirus crisis is to stoke division with the rest of the UK, demand more money, and make themselves more popular. If they are that brilliant at everything, we should offer to cut them loose and straight away. We paid Danegeld to make the Danes go away, and they didn't. We pay Scotsgeld to keep Scotland in the UK and they don't want to. Let's try a new version. Scotland can go if they want, but without any Scotsgeld. Mr. Lydon said Scotland currently makes extensive use of private finance initiatives (PFI) to rack up huge debts which he warned will inevitably fall back on the UK taxpayer. In addition, reserves of North Sea oil and gas, something the SNP has made much of in setting out its case for independence, have largely dried up. Scotland also benefits from a higher level of public spending per capita than any of region of the UK except Northern Ireland, £11,247, £2,000 above the national average, according to figures from the Office for National Statistics Country and Region Public Sector Finances Report for 2018-19. Mr. Lydon, citing Government Expenditure and Revenue Scotland (GERS), an annual estimate of the Scottish economy as part of the United Kingdom, said, Scotland is an economic basket case which has escaped the austerity meted out to the rest of the UK. It has hardly reduced its deficit compared to 2014 when the UK as a whole has cut its by 75%. The UK's 2019 deficit was only 1% of the size of its economy when Scotland's was 7%. Scotland's superior public services come about thanks to the transfer of the union dividend from the rest of the UK. In 2019 it was nearly £2,000 per person, or £10.6 billion.